This is a bad law. And election violence has always emanated after bad practice during the election and in the preparation to the election. Please, please, please do not take Kenyans on that road.
Ati saa hizi wanashughulika ati wanataka kubadilisha sheria. Ati wanataka wananchi asinyinyi mkipiga kura msijue kura yenu imefika wapi. Ati zitangazwe kwa redio, ati zitangazwe kwa TV, ati hii kura ipigwe ndani ya giza.
Watu wa TV mko hapa. You must blacklist those who are bringing amendments against the live streaming of results. Lazima mwananchi ajue nini naendelea. Si namna hiyo?
All right, those are leaders allied to the Deputy President was speaking over the weekend or towards the end of last week about that elections amendment bill. Listen to what Professor Abdigulia says about that bill that seeks to make changes to election law.
The display that was being done in 2017 based on numeric data transmission from the polling station will not be there, according to this amendment, because it is the image of the form that will be transmitted. But nothing stops the Commission from collating results, and once they are satisfied, giving the public on the results from the different constituencies.
All right, I'll shortly be looking at the specifics when it comes to that rule. Let me begin with the Honorable Mbui, because he hasn't spoken in a long time. But when you reflect on what's going on in the country, who is fooling who? Because you fall back on different court rulings or court judgments that have happened, and it actually appears that some of those clauses that are being amended were actually nullified by the High Court and termed to be unconstitutional. What must Kenyans know?
The first thing I wish to say is that it is surprising that some of those individuals we've just aired who are speculating and debating in marketplaces have been members of parliament and understand that we are not supposed to anticipate debate, that they should use their members to be able to canvass their position in the House. But when somebody stands up in a marketplace and shouts, at the rooftops that there's something wrong with the law, and they know that you cannot change it in the marketplace, I think that's a bit deceitful. I believe that Kenyans need to understand that the reason you elect people to different positions is so that they can be able to carry out the mandate that they are given. And in which case that means that if you elect somebody as a member of National Assembly or a senator, then they'll be able to carry out their debate in the House. These UDA characters have really disappointed us, because they go out there with falsehoods, and sometimes they pick on a small issue and they don't talk about the whole bill, and they try to indicate that there is something really wrong with it, because I don't think that any law is created for purposes of deceit. I think that at the end of the day, for me, I believe that we have a mandate as elected leaders to be able to go and discuss this thing in the House, talk about the pros and the cons, and end up with a law that can be able to help Kenyans. Because at the end of the day, what we want is to improve our election systems. Remember that in the last, when we took our petition after the last election, one of the issues was the way by which the results are supposed to be conveyed. And really, at the end of the day, it's possible that technology can fail. So what stops, what stops returning officers and people in the system from being able to transmit these even manually? What's wrong with that? What makes it, because what we are doing is we are not saying it is not possible to transmit it electronically, but we are opening up the space so that it is possible that you can even transmit it manually, even though you have the electronic system. So I think at the end of the day, I think people are being deceitful. I would advise that we canvass this matter in the House
Okay.
We are actually not allowed to anticipate debate. We go canvass this matter in the House, and we come up with a solution for Kenyans.
But it will be interesting and important for us to really focus on what the content of that bill is, because I believe it's also some form of public participation. So let's see. One of the clauses that this bill is seeking to amend is that section 39 1G, which currently says the Commission shall, to facilitate public information, establish a mechanism for the live streaming of results as announced at polling stations, and the results so streamed shall be for purposes of public information only and shall not be the basis for a declaration by the Commission. For starters, this clause was deemed unconstitutional by the High Court sometime in 2018 by Justice Chacha Mwita, and now the bill excuse me, is seeking to delete it. So, Honorable Opiyo Wandayi, as we exchange these ideas on what we feel about live streaming, what options exist to cure that gap that will be created should this clause be deleted based on what the High Court said of it being unconstitutional?
Firstly, a number of us have got their views about this proposed amendment. But however, it is not right. It is hypocritical for leaders, just like I've seen Ruto, Mudavadi, and the likes, shouting in those marketplaces about a bill which I am sure they haven't been able to read. Yes. I can tell you, because I've been in Parliament now for about 10 years. I'm sure none of those characters shouting in Vihiga yesterday have read that amendment bill. That notwithstanding, I don't understand further who they are blaming for this bill. Because as far as we are concerned, the bill is now a product of the House. And we are also aware that it has been initiated by the IBC. So are they blaming the IBC? Who are they blaming for this bill? But more importantly, in my view, is that when the time comes for debate on this bill at the second reading stage, we shall voice our opinions. But more importantly again, we shall be able to even propose further amendments to this bill at the Committee of the Whole House stage. So let them hold their horses. But coming to the matter of live transmission and so on and so forth, our views are very clear that we don't want to go back to where you have come from. We want to see this country progressing in terms of advancing technology use, in terms of election management. If there are things that need to be done, including improvement of the internet coverage, let us do so that we do not give room for people to start doubting the results. Yes, we should try to improve upon our electronic platform for these results to have the legitimacy that they should have. Yes, but that's something we shall discuss in the House. Okay. Yes.
And Senator, what's your take on this bill? Of course, your side of politics already has taken keen interest in that proposed deletion of that section or subsection that talks about live streaming of results. What's your take on the entire bill?
First is to congratulate the ODM party. They have supported UDA. They have said that they think that proposed deletion is problematic, and which is a validation of the position of UDA. Consistently, UDA has opposed any change to the law which would make the elections skewed in favor of some state project. And I think even the state project is appreciative that that would be a blatant manipulation of polls. And we will definitely be reverting back to the pre-2007 electoral system, where you are now tallying votes and delivering the results physically to some office. And that's not the democracy we want.
Okay, no, but which department hold it right there, just hold on, Honorable Maure, because I want us also to look at the amendment that is happening to, I believe it's section 1C, I mean section 39, subsection 1C. This is the chronology of results transmission that is proposed in that bill, that the presiding officers at the polling stations will electronically transmit the image of the results of the presidential results to National Tallying Center, that is electronically. The presiding officer shall then deliver the physical polling station results in person to the constituency returning officer, because that form has to be delivered, whether it's Form 34A. And then after that, the constituency returning officer will collate results and deliver the physical polling station result forms to the National Tallying Center, meaning that all these forms will eventually reach the chairman of IBC. The constituency returning officer will also electronically transmit the tabulated presidential results from the constituency level. Thereafter, what must happen is that the commission shall tally, verify, and declare the presidential election results from the polling station results. They'll be looking at the forms from the polling stations, both physical and what has been transmitted electronically. What is wrong with that,
No,
Senator?
I think that I will explain what is wrong.
Just hold on. He made a claim.
They are not looking for what is wrong. They are looking for the politics.
Just hold on. I'll give you an opportunity. Senator, what is wrong with that? Because you're saying that you will get back to the manual transmission of results, yet the amendment there is seeking to have both.
Both, yeah.
You see, the problem is which one supersedes the other one, assuming there is a conflict. You're making an assumption the two sets of transmission will tally, but there is every likelihood that they will not tally. So for us, we strongly believe that you need to choose one. And the one you choose is the modern one, which is electronic transmission of results, as opposed to physical delivery of any document.
So what should happen to the physical forms, in your view?
They should be delivered. I have no doubt about it.
But that's not...
No, they should be delivered.
Allow him time.
They should be delivered, I have no doubt. But the question is, should they have a legal effect to countermand that which was electronically transmitted? I say no. That which was submitted initially must be the legal one, the valid one. You know, in law, what a person does in the first instance is always taken to have more probative value, as opposed to that which has been done in the second instance. So in the first instance, the officer will send documents electronically. That is it. Now, trying to give legal validity to some subsidiary or complementary transmission, you have a problem with that.
There's I'll get to you. There's a section that is 1D that answers what Senator Kangata is asking, and it says that IEBC shall verify that the results transmitted and the physically delivered results are accurate, an accurate record of the results tallied, verified, and declared at the respective polling stations. And I get your dilemma, because in an instance where you have the physical form differing from what was scanned, then is that what you're struggling with?
And this doesn't answer my dilemma. It doesn't. It doesn't say if there is a conflict between the two sets of transmission, which one supersedes the other one. And that's a very important point.
Right. Honorable Maore, as you get into this, of course, there is the political posturing that the different political camps have taken, but there's also the fact of law and what is being proposed. And this was a serious issue in 2017, because I think about 14,000 forms were claimed not to have been delivered physically by the time the results are being declared. So how do you cure, even as you clarify the chronology of results, how do you cure that question is asking in an instance where the Form 34A from the polling station, the physical form, is different from what has been scanned in the system?
I believe this law is trying to cure the problem that arose that led us to the Supreme Court intervention in 2017, which nullified the presidential election. Now, when that election was being announced, I don't think there's anybody who jumped highest in this city near the Supreme Court than Senator Kangata. When it was nullified, it was a problem for the country, and it was quite unprecedented in Africa. When the Commission has proposed to cure that problem by having not the numbers or not the data, but the form scanned and forwarded, it means that that form that was scanned and forwarded should be able to later tally with the one that will be forwarded manually. That one, I think, is foolproof. Now, if it is foolproof, you have politicians who have always created a narrative that this election is about the state, it's about the state project. Now, he doesn't tell you which Department of State has initiated this amendment. Because when you hear the state, it's just a way of smearing and the kind of inciting Kenyans about the election results, which I believe is treasonable, to try to incite the country against itself. Because what you have had Ruto and Mudavadi say there, they had not read the bill, they had not digested the consequences or the content, or even of what they are saying. They are just out to incite people, to tell them, oh, there is a state project here, inakuja kusaidiwa na hii. They don't say by who. This is about IEBC trying to streamline and correct a mess that happened in 2017 and has happened even before. You remember 2007, when the elections were tallied, and then they were being released at night. You ask Kivuitu, what do you think is the outcome of this result? He tells you, he asks, who do you think won? He says, I don't know. And this is the chairman of the Electoral Commission. That time, ECK. You don't want that kind of story. You want him to have data and the document to tell you, this one lost, this one won. Both electronically and manually, they must be able to tally. If they don't tally, you can challenge.
But that question about scrapping the live streaming, and of course it's consistent with what...
No, live streaming, let me tell you the reason why you need to scrap it. You have understood whereby a few, I think 4 cabinet secretaries met with some civil servants in Lamanda Hotel. These guys go and manufacture a story that they had organized to kill the deputy president, and they release it. Now, you want that kind of character to be your returning officer? By this story of live streaming, they manipulate. You have seen them manipulate many things. You want the chairman of the IEBC to be the one who is the returning of the presidential election, not a character in the UDA and quarters.
But you've been here, you've witnessed several presidential elections, Honorable Maure.
Yes.
And you know the anticipation that Kenyans have.
Yes.
And the state and the systems of government in this country also owe it to them.
Yes.
That right to information, access to information is
guaranteed. I'm trying to explain to you actually the live streaming danger that has happened before, and it will happen even in future if you don't tame it. People go and get results from a certain corner of the country or a certain stronghold. So you start streaming them ahead. Then you have somebody with 1 million or 2 million votes margin. When the other results start now streaming in, you start now complaining now, this is the rigging, this is the rigging. By the time you tally and announce the results, the country is on fire. This is the kind of thing that you need to control.
When you say that, you remind me of Daraka Nidhi in 2007, and I think Georgia as well.
Yes, the whole population of Daraka Nidhi is 319.
just wait for the question, Honorable Maure.
And the results announced there were over 300.
So how will Kenyans monitor what's happening with the presidential election results?
No, Kenyans are monitoring. They have monitors in every constituency. There will be monitors.
But nationally, if there's no obligation in law on IEBC to tell them how far we are, how then do you secure this?
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. Let it come to Parliament. We will debate it. If that is an issue, we are going to correct.
Honorable Mbui, what are the chances that that can be corrected?
Well, Sam, the issue of bills in Parliament, once they go to second reading where we get opportunity to debate, they must also go through third reading, at which point members are at liberty, even UDA members, they are at liberty to propose amendments. You saw what happened in the elections, in the political parties bill. They proposed amendments to every comma, every full stop, every sentence. So it's possible to actually amend, as long as, of course, the House accepts, because it's a democratic process. But when you address this matter of the matter you've just questioned my colleague on, the issue of live streaming. In 2007, well, up to now, I still believe that the election was stolen. But having said that, I think when if you look at the country and the way the country is divided, there are regions where people have strongholds. and there are regions where people do not have many votes. So when the results start coming in an haphazard manner, there's a possibility that a politician will get results from their strongholds and seem to have an early lead. You've seen newspaper headlines that say so-and-so takes an early lead in elections. Now, unfortunately, in Kenya, when the newspaper prints that you have taken an early lead, that tells all your people that you're winning and that you won. If this changes, your people will go to the streets and the country will burn. I think it's important that we allow IEBC to be able to put together all the results and then present them at the same time so that you can know that your person has won or lost.
Okay.
But the reality is that live streaming and slow presentation of results creates anxiety. And sometimes people feel that they've won long before the race is over. I mean, look at the campaign trail. There are people who are beating their chests and thinking the election is done. They're saying there's a state project, we are the ones who've got the people, and no one has cast a vote. It's 6 months to the election. Yeah. So you can imagine if such people were to lose an election because on the first day, results come from some village in Uasin Gishu and they are ahead with the 200 votes, they'll expect that to continue up to the end. So I think it's important that we put some order in the way these results are relayed. And this is because historically we've had challenges, Sam. We've had challenges. Historically, we've seen a problem.
You're not responding to my question. Let me make an attempt by listening to what Professor Guli has said about how Kenyans will monitor the results. So what will the Commission do to ensure that you keep the country in pace as you receive the results and as you confirm them?
We will share the results with the public.
How so?
As soon as they come.
How will you do that?
Once the physical results are sent electronically, we will share those results with the stakeholders, including media. And once the original results have come and verifications have been done between the transmitted and the original paper forms, the Commission will develop procedures for updating Kenyans on the outcome of the various presidential contestants. If the results have been digitally transmitted and they are in a public portal and anybody is accessible to it, what monkey business can the Commission do?
Senator Kangata, still, are you satisfied? Because he says that they'll provide access for the public. And I'm just struggling with, you have, say, 50,000 polling stations. How does a Kenyan go to download 50,000 images to tabulate what those results should be?
First, thank you so much for bringing a very good panel that is skewed in favor of Azimio. My brother is Azimio, my brother Azimio, the other one Azimio. Thank you so much.
I'm in one Kenya alliance.
Skewedness. And thank you. I think this was a trap to
Senator Kangata, please.
To put a rope on the neck of the Tanga. But it's okay. I'm not complaining. I'm congratulating. I'm congratulating.
No. That's an
and secondly, I'm surprised. My brother from Meru is saying Honorable Kibaki second election was rigged when he says that the Rakanidi elections transmission results were not fair. I'm surprised.
You can't remember they ended up in the Hague.
His Excellency Kibaki was duly elected. And also I'm surprised my brother there, our small brother, is saying a very good point.
Why are you saying small?
No, sorry. I'm not a small brother. I apologize. No. You know, he is here to join Azimio in totality. But of course, we can see the drift. So that's why you need to join as a principal. No, they won't make you, they won't give you the deputy president slot. They won't give you. I'm sorry. No, it's important. You know, it's important. It's important, my brother. So, my brother, the Azimio brothers, allow me to address the Azimio brothers here. Azimio brothers, you know, you are talking about the transmission, the chaos, and the violence. First, don't worry. UDA does not believe in chaos. We will not fight. You see, my colleague there says that if you transmit results and you publish them, and then people start seeing the trend is changing, that will give an impetus for chaos. That's neither here or there, because that's a constant factor. Whether you hold results and you announce them in one soap, or you transmit them slowly. So to me, that's a constant factor. If you intend to fight, you will fight immediately the results have been announced. And secondly, if you want to reduce tension in any form of governance structure, whether a company, whether in an entity like IBC, you must be transparent. And therefore, this one against transparency. You asked the IBC Commission a very important question and he didn't respond. Will they allow the public to access the results as they are being transmitted, or will they hold until they get the physical form and they now compare and now they make the announcement? That was a question which I didn't see him give a very clear answer. And that is the problem. The current system is fairly open. Immediately results have been transmitted electronically, usually being them live. Now we have a situation where you may be told you wait until we do a comparative study, a comparative analysis between what has been brought physically and what has been sent electronically. That will delay publication of results. It will create an opaque system. And even if they were to wait until all forms have been collected, it will definitely bring a lot of dissatisfaction to the people who are waiting for those results, notwithstanding the pattern. People who want to create chaos will create chaos, notwithstanding they have won fairly. No, sorry, they have lost fairly. So like my brothers here from Azimio, I can tell you, they have not given a public pledge they are going to respect the results. They have not, as we have given. We don't mind, whichever the outcome. UDA is going to be peaceful. It is them. It is them who have the government machinery.
No, just hold on. I mean, you get an opportunity.
Now, Azimio, please. Azimio,
just a quick comment.
Azimio.
Sorry, I'll give you an opportunity.
I'm alone. To out of 1 minute,
first of all, Senator Kangata.
Azimio is talking for...
Senator Kangata, let me explain the reasoning behind composition of this panel. You come from the Jubilee Party, but now you're affiliated to UDA, or you moved?
But my heart is in UDA.
So you're affiliated to UDA?
Yes.
Honorable P. Wandai is in ODM.
He is in Azimio. Are you not?
Just hold on. Just hold on, Senator Kangata.
Oh, he's in UDA.
He's in ODM, and ODM has issued a statement that was released by Junet Mohammed opposing that bill, right? You have Honorable Malcolm Ore here from the Jubilee Party.
Like him.
Well, you share the party at the moment. In fact, you are too Jubilee. And then Honorable Robert Mboi is from the Wiper Party, and Wiper Party is in One Kenya Alliance. In fact, last week they signed a coalition agreement within One Kenya Alliance. So it is not fair for you to go ahead and say
they said Kenya,
that the panel is skewed. Just hold on, Senator. The panel is skewed against you at a time that you're actually aware who are your co-panelists.
Now, to respond to him quickly.
Can I speak also?
Yes, but he didn't respond. If you saw the temperament of the members of the National Assembly from UDA when we were voting for the political party's bill, you will see temperament of animals who cannot accept results of any kind. Just about to vote, you will see them even throwing bottles of water, boxing people.
Is the use of the word
animal, surely.
No.
Is it fair?
Is it fair to say
is
animals?
It fair?
No, I'm saying
you
civilized
can't
behavior.
call a member of parliament
behavior.
an animal.
No, animal behavior. There's an animal behavior and civilized behavior.
A member of parliament an animal.
No.
Hold on, Senator.
Let me correct. And civilized behavior, which cannot accept, which shows a temperament of people who can never accept results or even a competition.
So is that you withdrawing that money?
Yes, I did.
Okay, all right. Honorable,
but I said it's very uncivilized, very uncool, very dangerous for the country.
That's why I made your point. Honorable P. Wandai, there's a message that came from Honorable Junet Mohammed, who is a member of ODM, and he said that you are not supporting the election amendment bill that is taking us to manual system of tallying, which is open to too much manipulation and errors. The country moved away from there and invested heavily in electronic systems. We can only improve on the electronic system, but not revert to manual. I also want us to listen to something that was said, especially by Senator Kipchumba Murkomen. Listen.
Lakini ile mabadiliko ingine ambayo wanataka kuleta ya kusema ile results itatoka kwa polling station isibadilishwe, hiyo tunakubaliana.
Sasa wameleta sheria kwa bunge ati tubadilishe sheria ndio tuhakikishe tumeondoa ile inaitwa biometric system.
Right, and I take a keen interest because you are the politicians, and when you go to the podium and say certain things, ending up being misleading, what do we do with our politicians?
And you can clearly see that both Senators Kindiki Kithure and Kipchumba Murkomen are misrepresenting the facts of the bill. And for sure they haven't read it. And they are doing so deliberately.
That message I read to you from
Honorable Junet's statement actually amplifies what I've been saying here all along. That our position is very clear as a party, as ODM, that would want improvement on technology. We would want improvement on the use of technology in terms of voter registration, tallying, and transmission of results. And that as much as possible we avoid the reliance on manual systems, okay? Especially on tallying and transmission. Now, we know the IBC has made certain proposals as contained in that bill, okay? Now, our views as a party, we are going to see to it that we bring them on board at the time of the debate on this bill. Now, I haven't heard Commissioner Gulier ruling out sharing the transmitted data with the media. In fact, he has said
the forms will be shared.
Yes, he has said they'll share them with the stakeholders, including the media. And the bill, I don't think it is outlawing the media sharing that information with the public. In this digital age, everybody would have known who has won what, in which location, and can tell, even before they reach the tallying center. And therefore, this Ulabalu by Tanga and their new friends, okay, is really unnecessary. They're basically panicking and preparing their supporters to reject these results, because the results are only going to show that they have lost. I can tell you, what they're doing is basically psychologically to prepare their supporters that somebody is planning somewhere to rig them out, which is not true. It's not true. We are very clear in our position. We are the ones that are calling projects, and yet we are saying that we don't want anything manual. Okay? So what's the contradiction here? So let them understand that this election is not going to be won on platform of propaganda and incitement, the way they are trying to do. Let them own up the fact that they have been cornered. They have been campaigning for the last 4 years and a half. Now the game has just begun.
What do you mean cornered?
And what they are calling Azimio is not yet. You will see what is the kind of machinery which is being prepared, which is being assembled to vanquish this Tanga group. I can tell you, yes. They would believe what would have hit them.
What do you mean they have been cornered?
They have been cornered because they didn't know. They didn't imagine that they will lose this election. They didn't know. They are now going all over.
They can see the signs.
They are now going all over abusing or insulting President Uhuru Kenyatta for refusing to endorse them. And who has got the right to endorse anybody?
So for the benefit of Kenyans,
yes.
I mean, it's clear. You're saying nothing outlaws IBC from sharing details.
Yes.
But how do you secure it in law so that it becomes an obligation that Kenyans can follow as soon as those results are verified and confirmed? They have an idea.
We shall do that on the floor of the House with my friend here, Mauka Maure, leader, and Mbui. We shall do it. And if they have got numbers, let them come and bring on board their views, if they are contrary to ours. We shall align all these. These are very good ideas which are coming forth. We shall align them to ensure that the country, the people's right to information is not curtailed in any way. At the same time, we safeguard the integrity of the election and the results. Yes.
Senator,